Yo, I didn't even want to. I promise you, I didn't want to do a video on this. I promise you, I didn't want to do a video on this. I kept on saying, don't fall for it. And the problem is this: I keep seeing black social influencers with a lot of numbers, a lot of subscribers, which mean they have the power behind their microphone. And I don't agree at all with what they're spewing, because it's utter nonsense to me. Now, first, let's take Poetic Flacco. Poetic Flacco said, because Carmelo Anthony was smaller, because he was smaller, right? He named his weight. He was smaller than Austin Metcalf. That what could he do? What could he physically do? And there's a lot of things he could have physically done, like left that mother. He could have not been there after being asked to leave. You got Hassan Campbell. He started gaslighting the situation. I don't think we need that. Now, I am someone who kind of overstands a lot. So I can't expect everyone to see things the way I see them, because I overstand too much. However, I do know this is a ploy to keep people divided while they finish out the 2030 agenda. I know that, but I don't feel like explaining that to you right now in this video. But what I will say is this. When you have somebody with no emotional intelligence, which there's plenty of these people running around, but once you notice these people running around, you become less impulsive and reactive to their toxicity. However, it doesn't mean that it cannot affect you. When someone is unhinged, when someone does not have the emotional intelligence, when someone was never taught, it don't matter, just fight, take the L. And they go around and they think they can resolve everything by overreacting, stabbing people in the chest, shooting people. The first thing I really asked on my YouTube was, I wonder if he was raised with his father. That's what I had asked. And I still don't know the answer. I just know I haven't heard much about his father being at the courthouse, this, that, and the third. And the reason I asked that is because his reaction, it was more dramatic, over dramatic. Nonetheless, we got laws in this country. So what happens is this: if he would have went free, he would have been back outside wilding out for sure. And the next time, it may not have been a white boy. It may have been your daughter. It could have been your son who accidentally bumped him at the gas station. And I know this, right? I'm just tired of hearing people stand up for him, maybe because he's young, maybe because he's black, maybe because of both. He's young and he's black and he should have got off. Maybe because, hey, we need some get back for the agent who shot the young boy, which that was ridiculous, if I'm reading the case right. But you can't get justice for that young boy by supporting somebody when they're wrong in a totally different situation. He did what he did, and someone died. And whether you meant for him to die or not is not the point. So you're definitely going to jail. Now, some of you didn't get that. So now that we got that out the way, he definitely got to go to jail. Some of you like, well, it's the time. I don't believe you. I don't think that it's the time for you. I 100% feel that you will take any chance where it seems like revenge, because it's not right and wrong. This does not make up for slavery. This does not make up for mass incarceration. This does not make up for Trayvon Martin. This does not make up for any of the wrongs that has been done to black people in this country. But I know you're going to be like, yo, I'll take it. I just want to tell you one thing. You could think what you want. I just want to tell you one thing. The United Nations and the World Economic Forum did a legitimate partnership called Agenda 2030. And the reason I say it like that is because when you hear agenda, right away your brain thinks, oh, this is conspiracy theory. I'm not talking about conspiracy theory. I'm talking about actual partnership penned with ink. An Agenda 2030. What is that? This is agreed sustainable goals that they need to reach from 2020 to 2030. It has already started. We have about 3.5 years left until they reach those goals. If you have not been paying attention, the world has been drastically changing the closer we get to 2030. I predicted they was going to do something like this already. This would happen, right? So it's just very coincidental that two stories would make national news, and then you ever ask yourself who chooses the news to go national? Because a bunch of these stories happen all the time and you don't know nothing about it. So who's throwing it in your face all the time? Now, for some reason, the young man who the Asian guy shot in South Carolina, for some reason the Asian guy got off without any type of consequences, right? He got acquitted. In my opinion, that shouldn't have been, because the kid did not steal the water that came out in the court case. And not only did he not take the water, the kid was fleeing the scene and you shot him in the back. I don't know. I took like one law class and they told me that if someone is fleeing the scene and you shoot them in the back, then that's a crime. At least in New York. South Carolina could have its own laws that doesn't mind you shooting someone in the back. However, I doubt it. Me personally, I think this was set up like this. There's a lot of things that don't smell right with Kermelo Anthony's case. The fact they say he wasn't even supposed to run that day is crazy. him being told to leave the tent but not leaving the tent. Like, there's a lot of things that don't add up that I want to dig deeper into. If in fact they said he was supposed to be going to anger management via the school, I would like to know if he started. I would like to know. I'm going to tell you why I would like to know. MK Ultra is real. I've seen them do it a bunch of times, but usually they do it with Caucasian people. What if this time none of that story makes sense? Just his motive. What was this about? Nonetheless, you got to go to jail. I don't know what the motive was. I don't know what triggered him to behave like this. But I can tell you this. In my opinion, this is black people's problem. You support the wrong stuff. You really do. And none of it ever works. None of it gets you any further. So you could keep supporting the killers, the dope dealers. It always comes back to bite you. You could keep on making it trendy, trying to, make it seem like it's a cool thing to be the killer, cool thing to be the drug dealer, the street person. You know what they call insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Black community, you don't want a different result. You just want to whine and bitch. That's all you want to do. Because if you really want to change, then you would expect change from your own people. But you don't. Because it's going to be different. It's not going to feel the same. It's going to feel uncomfortable. Because you celebrate all the toxicity right now. And it's no different than going on a diet. It's no different than working out. I don't want to do it. I want to change. I want the muscles, but I don't want to work out. I want to get healthy, but I don't want to eat right. And you claim you want the black people to be restored to greatness. But you don't want to give up all the things that's keeping them at the bottom of the status hierarchy. Well, good luck with that. The bottom line is this. The young man made a decision that I wish he would not have made. But he did make that decision. And there's consequences. It has nothing to do with race. Because like I said, at the rate, if that was your response to getting shoved in the shoulders, it could have been anybody black any time. Then we would be sitting here. But guess what? It wouldn't have made national news. So I don't really know how you black and you just standing up and saying, nah, this is wrong. It's not wrong. He stabbed somebody in the chest for shoving him in the shoulders. This was an easy 5 minutes. This is a 31. This is a fight. You understand? Or this is just, where's the respect, right? Where's the, you're not supposed to be here? No doubt. Right? But it's an ego thing. Somebody told me I'm not supposed to be here. Well, I'm going to show them. I'm going to do it anyway. There's consequences for leading with your ego and your pride. But 35 years. Damn. He going to find out now. The last thing I want to say is I think it's irresponsible for these people to have social media channels that goes out to a big audience and be spewing out here spewing nonsense. Y'all calling the descendants of these white people the colonizers? They're not the colonizers. All white people are not the same. That's number one. You got racist whites, you got racist blacks. What I do know is there's a war going on outside that no man is safe from. When they poison your food, they poison their food too. This is what I tell the white people. Y'all gotta wake up, because they don't just poison the black people food and water. They poison your food and water too. They poison your medicine too. What they're going to continue to do is try to pit y'all against each other, because when the time comes for y'all to fight the one true enemy, they would really rather y'all divided. Black people, you don't have as much ammunitions as these white people have stored up. When the time comes, and I'm just telling you the truth right now, when the time comes, we would be better off working together. Now you say, yo, I ain't never working with them. Well, I'm not listening to you anyway, so you can say what you want. It's freedom of speech. I just want to leave you with this one last thing. There's a story, an ancient story in the text. Genesis 11, chapter 11. And it talks about the people working together to build something. Actually, a Tower of Babel. But dig this. This is how important solidarity was. It was so important that it was the one thing that the gods were scared of in the Bible. The one thing that the gods was visibly shaken up about was people working together. In fact, so it said, because they are of one mind, there's nothing that they cannot do. Yeah, there's nothing that they cannot do. So the powers that be understand. They understand the assignment. You guys have to stop being so emotional and get real with yourself. You either build or destroy. You cannot build by moving the goalposts because someone looks like you. You can only destroy your own community and say, nah, it's all right. It's not all right that you run around and you're doing heinous acts of crime that don't even call for that measure. It's not. When you start to have accountability in your own community and get real and knock it off, then that's when we can start to see some true change. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.